underway. It's Morocco kicking us off, and immediately the ball played out to their left-hand side. It's gathered by Patterson, who knocks it back to Angus Gunn. Gunn takes a touch and then knocks it down the right-hand side. It's out of play, and the all-important question, Pat Nevin, has been a lot of debate about how Scotland will line up, and it does look as though Scotland are going with the four at the back, but you're a man who knows more about tactics than me, so you take it away.
I think it looks like almost a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-1-1 with McTominay, going a little bit further into midfield, and he's going to stick on Buadi. We talked a lot about it before the game on Radio 5 Live, and talked about how great Buadi is. Well, he's going to have to be some player if it's him man and man against Scott McTominay, because he can play a bit and he can run. So we shall see if that's what pans out. But left-hand side, certainly it looks like Tierney's a bit further forward than Andy Robertson.
Yes, it does. Yeah, there was much debate about whether he would occupy that position. That's exactly where he is right now. But Morocco try and come forward early on, and they look like they're beating the offside trap. And there's an effort at a goal, and it's lashed in, and the goal is going to stand, according to the assistant referee. It's Saibari once again from a tight angle. Morocco, inside the opening moments of this match, look like they've gone in front. We will wait the VAR decision in terms of whether it was offside, but Saibari picking up where he left off with a fabulous goal against Brazil, and I think he might well have trumped that with the finish here on the right-hand side. And Scotland, within 90 seconds in the Boston Stadium, fall behind 1-0 Morocco.
And he's well onside. He times it on absolutely perfectly. The goalkeeper's got it's a hard angle, but it's popped up on the bobble for him. And sometimes when it happens like that, you catch it so clean. And let's be fair, Sabari, he has lashed that into the top corner there. Do you know the thing about international football, particularly World Cup football? You can spend days, weeks, months, years making a plan, and then it has to change in 5 minutes. Well, Scotland are going to have to change it now, or adapt it, or make sure they do it better.
It's the worst possible start for the Scots, but absolute delight among the Moroccan fans in and around us, jumping with glee as Saibari went to celebrate his second goal of the tournament. And Scotland with an uphill battle already on their hands. The offside trap didn't work, and Saibari was the man who capitalised to the fullest.
It's very early, Al, right? But I have to say, I cannot believe they played the back four. If you play a back three, there's no space to run into there. He's run into where the third centre back would be on the left-hand side. And I was completely and utterly convinced that we would do that. And as we speak, he's just run into the same position again. It looked as if he was onside again. I'm quite taken aback by that. It's so far, we're only 3 minutes in. That's not particularly worked very well, hasn't it?
No, far from ideal for Scotland. Morocco leading by a goal to nil. Goal coming within 90 seconds from Ismail Saibari of PSV. It sounds like he's on his way to Bayern Munich though, and with the finishing he's shown so far in this competition, it's easy to see why the German giants are keen to take him to Munich. It's Morocco bossing possession in these early stages. Scotland trying to get close to them. It's McTominay trying to close down, but Morocco still in possession, provisionally now 6th in the world rankings. They leapfrogged Portugal as a result of the opening draw against Brazil.
It's very interesting. It was on tactical things. It was really quite taken aback by. They're like a back four on the Moroccans, but quite often that man we were talking about before, Buadi, he goes and sits back almost with one of the centre backs, and you think, well, where's the right back, Hakimi? I'll tell you where he is. He's everywhere. He's all over the place. He's almost as if he's got a free range to do and go wherever he wants to go. And it's really confused Scotland. He is currently, Hakimi, playing centre forward.
He is. It's incredible, yeah. He's right up against Jack Hendry.
Extraordinary tactics to get your head round if you're Scotland.
Morocco still have the ball at the back. It's Diop playing it square for Riyad, to very experienced Premier League players. Scotland picked up possession in a good area. Got a cut back there from Adams. Forward he comes. McGinn trying to find Adams again. There's a Scotland player down. He was taken out of play as that move began to progress, the referee probably rightly played advantage that hasn't really accrued in the end, and Morocco pick up once more. They're coming down the left-hand side. It's Unai infield to El Khanous, who comes in off the left, looking to build. It's Brahim Diaz of Real Madrid who played that wonderful pass for Saibari to open the scoring against Brazil. Slowing it down now, Morocco. Certainly seeing a lot more of the ball in these opening exchanges, and they've got the opening goal. They've only played 5.5 minutes. Scotland looking for an historic result to take them through to the knockout stages. Morocco got to the semi-finals last time out, and Steve Clarke reckons they're a better team now. Certainly if you look at the results over the last 2.5 years, their only defeat, and that's an inverted commas defeat, because it came in the African Nations Cup final to Senegal, but most of you will know that that was then overturned, and Morocco declared champions of Africa because of Senegal leaving the field without permission. That was subject of an appeal, but here comes Scotland. It's Tierney trying to feed it in, looking for Adams, headed away, but only as far as Ryan Christie inside the penalty area, tries to squeeze it through the legs of Riyad, doesn't quite come off. Picked up by El Khanous, goes back to his goalkeeper Bounou. The 35-year-old clears, headed back towards the Moroccan penalty area by Hanley, and then a wayward header on the Scots' head, and out of play on this near side for a Moroccan throw-in as their manager makes his way to the edge of the technical area. Mohamed Wabi, 49-year-old, born in Belgium. He looks pretty cool down there with his side in charge in these early stages here. Almost 7 minutes played. It's Scotland 0, Morocco 1. Scotland have had a couple of surges forward though, Pat. There are signs that they can get forward, but it will be on the counter-attack, it appears.
Absolutely, and it's gone from the left-hand side, and we were talking earlier on if it's a back four or a back five. If you watch what Tierney's having to do with Hakimi, it's a back five. He's having to spend so much of his time defending back there. If that's the player he's running with, and that's the player he's supposed to be taking care of, you'll end up having to go all the way back unless you hand him on in the right time. But that's where problems happen, when you have to hand players on.
Morocco have it, but 10 yards inside the Scots half. Click forward, looking for Saibari once more. That time Hendry got his head to it, played forward to the halfway line. Adams, poor first touch, and Morocco have it back once more, and they're attacking that Scots penalty area. A little clip there on Saibari, and then the ball forwards. It's too much on it. Scotland will get the goal kick. We've played 8 minutes inside the Boston Stadium, and already Scotland trail with Ismail Saibari's opening goal with inside a couple of minutes. Scotland 0, Morocco 1.
Yeah, look, we got a little bit hung up with the systems, etc. beforehand and the way it's gone, and it obviously we found out a little bit at the start. But in the end, the fact that there's such fluidity to the Moroccans, you know, there's such total football that they're playing just now, with players able to go and play in all sorts of different positions. So hard to line up against that, incredibly hard. At the moment, you see a couple of breaks on the left-hand side from Scotland, but it's maybe been one decent one where Andy Robertson and alongside Tierney flew down the left wing a little bit. But apart from that, you look at the comfort in the ball. Moroccans are way ahead at the moment, aren't they? They're just really comfortable in the ball. They feel as if they own this game.
A little bit more than half of the pitch is shaded from a sun which is not as hot as it was 6 days ago, even though it's an earlier kickoff. But certainly up here in the Gorge it feels relatively cool, but I gather at pitch level it still feels pretty intensely hot, as McTominay does well to win the ball over in the far side in an advanced position. He goes back the way to Robertson. Robertson back over the halfway line into his own half for Hendry. He'll turn it all the way inside to Grant Hanley, midway inside his own territory. He's at square once more for Jack Hendry, just outside his penalty area now. Hanley again, and back to Hendry again, as the Moroccan fans are those who are in better mood after the opening 9.5 minutes of this game. They know that they will go top with a victory, with Brazil of course up against Haiti later in the game. Morocco have won it back. Christie thought he was fouled. It's a promising position here. Unai feeds it in, big chance here, and it's just behind the player coming into the back post. Unfortunately for Scotland, it drifts behind for a goal kick, as neither Saibari nor El Anawi could get there, and Scotland have a big let-off as it remains Scotland 0, Morocco 1.
But that all came from the fact that Ryan Christie had the ball and he had the back to the player, right? And he had the lightest of nudges, but he's gone down. And to be fair, most referees, particularly in Premier League, give you a free kick there. That's not happening in this World Cup.
It's not, yeah.
It's absolutely not happening. So you know what's a good idea? Try and be John McGinn. Stay on your feet and roll people if you can.
McGinn gets a flick on at the edge of the Moroccan area, but no teammate there to gather. Now it comes back up towards Tierney. Christie battling away but losing out. Morocco have it. They're under pressure though. And it's Christie who's trying to run it back, but again the break of the ball goes the way of the African champions, and forward they come again down the left hand side, led by their goal scorer Saibari. Good ball infield, chance here for El Kanous, tries to feed it into the penalty area. There's a Scotland body in the way. Shea Adams getting back there to do the defending, gets it half clear, picked up by Sabari. Another good ball into the box. Unai trying to wriggle his way through, comes off a Scotland leg. Nathan Patterson just forcing it behind. It's going to be a Moroccan corner. 11 minutes in, Scotland 0, 81.
Panic stations in the Scotland defence there, wasn't it? Everyone trying to get back. Shea Adams getting in each other's way there, didn't get decent enough clearance, but that's a couple of times when the ball's been put in there. When Scotland, in past times, they're comfortable in those areas, know where each other are. They're at 6s and 7s at the moment.
Morocco won clearly rather than Haiti, of course. As Morocco have looked a very impressive side in these early stages. They've got that opening goal as Unai picks up left-hand side. He's got incredibly Hakimi on his overlap on that left wing. He really does, as Pat's been saying, pop up absolutely everywhere. Licence to roam.
I want to see a touch map of him, or a movement map of where he is. Because I think there's 3 of them on the pitch just now, because he's supposed to be a right back. He now and again visits the right back area. Rarely, but now and again. But that's just his starting point to basically maraud anywhere in the pitch, and he's so hard to pick up. He is a spectacularly good player.
I have to say that the Brazil equaliser came from that position. Vinicius Junior picking up in the Moroccan right back role, and he was nowhere to be seen. And he, of course, Vinny Junior doesn't need too many invitations to cut inside and whip the ball into the back of net. It was exactly what he did. But I guess what Hakimi offers going forward, you kind of have to afford him that luxury at times.
I mean, it's interesting what they're doing. Is, I've just like I said at the start, when Hakimi goes, Ruadi just steps back and you still got a 4. It's actually perfectly fine. It's perfectly easy. Diop moves over to the right back. They know what they're doing. It's not really that complicated to cover that area. But you need to have players who understand it. They've worked on it. They've worked together as a group for a good long time. You were talking about them at the World Cup. I was at almost every single game they played at that World Cup, and they were doing complex things like that. But they look more sophisticated and more controlled about it now.
Yeah, they replaced their manager after that African Cup of Nations campaign, even though Walid Regragui, the previous boss, had led them to that last 4th place in the World Cup. But it seemed like the fans and the FA wanted a more attacking brand, a more exciting brand of football, and certainly what we're seeing from Mohamed Wabi's side is exactly that, as they lead here in the Boston Stadium by a 1-0. Saibari with the early opener against Scotland here in Boston. All is not lost by any means for the Scots, as Wadi picks up and then plays it out to the left-hand side. Riyad and then El Kanous from Leicester, but he was on loan at Stuttgart last year, scored a couple of goals against Celtic in the Europa League. Very promising player on that left-hand side. Morocco again just get comfortable possession midway inside their own half, not quite a quarter of an hour played. You can hear the noise coming from the Moroccan fans right now. They are thoroughly enjoying themselves. Probably unfortunate not to beat Brazil, certainly from what I saw in the first half, particularly the more dangerous looking side, and they're going to go far in this tournament by the looks of it, as Boadi again picks up. The Tartan Army try to respond with a rendition of Flower of Scotland, looking to lift their side. It's not that Scotland have necessarily started poorly here, Pat. They just barely getting on the ball, and Morocco have been so impressive.
Classic. You can't tell who Scotland are playing because they've not got the ball, and that's true. Absolutely spot on. The comfort of the ball, the control of the game, as I say, the fluidity they've got in their play They are a very, very special looking team, but they're not unbeatable and you can get past them. The problem with Scotland is they haven't quite got a foothold in the game. We're 15 minutes in. There hasn't been a long passage of play where Scotland have held the ball and we're giving it away again.
It's a dreadful pass from McTominay. He's got really lucky. Christie's managed to keep possession. Now it's McGinn coming forward, back into McTominay just inside the Moroccan half, and now out to the left-hand side for Tierney. Comes back over the halfway line to Robertson. Robertson's got a bit of time and space to measure his options. Fabulous diagonal out to Patterson on this right-hand side. Back in field to Christie. Patterson once again tries a more difficult ball. It comes off Christie, and now Morocco pick up once more. It was the wrong choice of pass from Patterson. I think he wanted to be positive, Pat, in fairness to him, but probably the sensible ball was just to come back to his defence once again, and he lost it.
Do you know when you're in this position, what are you trying to do? Okay, if you have to keep it at the back, go back, hold it, give yourself 30, 40, 50 seconds worth of possession, and everyone gets a little bit of confidence, a little bit of lift out of that. We've not managed to do that. McTominay gave the ball away just about 30 seconds, 40 seconds ago. Then Patterson gave the ball away. Yeah, you want to be positive minded, but you give the ball away against a team like this, you ain't getting it back for 3 or 4 minutes, and that's hard. So we have to work ourselves back into the game. 65% of possession we're seeing on our screens in front of us has been in favour of Morocco. As Scotland will pick up a loose ball, and it's played in field to Christie. He's playing that role that he tends to do for Bournemouth these days, the sitting midfield role, as McGinn then walks out to the right hand side to Patterson. He'll try and come forward, well challenged by El Khanous, and not only does he make the tackle, but he also plays it off Patterson, and he's punching the air in delight, and the Moroccan fans just in front of him there down at the touchline, absolutely delighted by that. Patterson getting forward a little bit, and that's probably why he's in the teams. Always noted for being a full-back that stays behind. He gets forward when he can, he overlaps when he can.
He's not played a lot of football, and he's lost out in a duel there once again, this time to El Khanous. Hickey probably didn't have his best game in a Scotland shirt against Haiti, and like Patterson, hasn't played a massive amount of football this season. As here comes Hakimi into the penalty area. He's almost round Gunn. Gunn gets a really important touch. You get the better of Hanley, who looked to be in charge of the situation. Hakimi stayed down, but Gunn actually gets a crucial touch on that. Otherwise it could easily have been 2-0 to Morocco.
And 2-0 from exactly the same position between the full-back and the centre-back. They've clearly done that. They've clearly worked on that and thought, if they play a back four, Scotland play a back four, we're going to go to that position. We're going to put it in there, and we've got quality players that will run into that area.
Thoughts there of Pat Nevin. You listen to live coverage of Scotland against Morocco on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Radio 5 Live, as a decision goes against the Scots in the middle of the park. The Tartan Army, as you can hear, didn't like it. I don't think Pat Nevin liked it either.
Liked it? I have no idea what's going on with the West. I didn't see a handball at all. Having said that, the referee's about 150 yards closer than we are, so I might have to give him the benefit of the doubt in that one.
Yeah, binoculars wouldn't go amiss, would they, from this position? It's a wonderful position, isn't it? Because you can see tactically, what's happening and things like that. But there are occasions you even might not spot an odd handball or something. So yeah, we'll give the referee the benefit of the doubt there, as Diop plays it out to the right hand side to that man Hakimi, who's double Champions League winner now with PSG, and that star-studded lineup. Diop once more of Fulham, starting once again at the heart of the defence. Picked up in the midfield there by Unahi, and clipped forward again, looking for the run of Hakimi. It's knocked out a play over on the far side by Tierney, who's got probably the least enviable job in the pitch, Pat. Almost a man marking job in Hakimi.
Well, he's not always getting him. Robertson's got him some of the time, but when he's not got him, he's got Brahim Diaz, and that's not easy either. So he's got, Diaz fabulously good on that right hand side. It's no surprise that the goal came down that side, and also the opportunities, two of the opportunities have come down that side as well. They are very, very quick, but they're technically good as well. Corner kick to Morocco, right-hand side, to be taken by Ashraf Hakimi into the near post. It's over McTominay. It was Hanley got his head to it. He's headed it behind once again for another corner kick, again over on the right-hand side, which Hakimi will try again. Slight outswinger with the right foot from that
right flank of Morocco. Scotland desperately looking to avoid conceding a second in these early stages. In it comes. McTominay gets his head to it this time. Comes out to Boadi, who strikes it only off Christie, but it'll ricochet out to Hakimi, right hand side. Plenty of time to measure across. Well, he might have been going for a goal there against Angus Gunn, slightly off his line, but Gunn able to gather. Just going back to the goal, actually, Pat, when it bounced up quite kindly for Saibari on that right hand side, does he kind of give Gunn the eyes as if to say, I'm going to put this into the middle, and then he just lashes it in almost at his near post?
And there's a possibility of that, but when the ball bounces up like that, you just want to catch it clean and with power. And if you catch it clean with a power, you don't hit the keeper, it's in the net. So it's one of those ones, you get it on target with pure power when it bounces up like that, and the chances are, even if it hits the keeper's hand, it'll bend his hand backwards. You know, he's roofed that, and the only thing that could have stopped that ball was in the net is had it hit Gunn straight in the face.
Here's Saibari's 11th goal for his country, and it has Morocco in the lead here with 21 minutes on the clock. Maybe Scotland have just slightly weathered the storm. I don't want to speak too soon here, but hasn't been too much more for Gunn to do since.
Well, they're not been closed down quite the same there, but I think Morocco are a good enough team to take it. You know, let's not chase it for 90 minutes. We don't need to. We'll decide when we start closing down or pressing high up the field. And they'll let Scotland get a wee bit of the ball back here. But it's if Scotland can actually make progress through the thirds of the field while they've got the ball, we shall see. So far, not really. But you know, it's early in the game.
Robertson out to Tierney just inside his own half. Back to Robertson again, and infield to Hendry. Midway inside his own half. Approaching the midway point in this first period, and we'll get the hydration break. As Robertson has it once more, still well inside his own territory, just turns it back again to Hendry. The Tartan Army have gone a little bit quiet just for the moment as it's played out to Patterson on this right hand side. He clips it forward looking for Adams, and Scotland have got the free kick as he was fouled off the ball there, and Jock given a yellow card for the challenge on Adams. The Scotland player's actually making a point, well, he was the last man. I'm not sure you could say it's an obvious goal scoring opportunity, could you?
To be fair, he's taking a chance to up there. I mean, he's dragged him back. He's lovely movement by Che Adams. It's a classic old one. You go long, then go short, then go long again. But that time, Diop's lost him. He's just pulled him back. Now, there is a question whether he'd have reached it. Maybe the keeper would have got it. But notice the word maybe. He's done a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence there, because had he got on the end of the ball, that's 1-on-1 with the keeper. So, definite yellow card. Edging towards red.
Yeah, well, VAR will be having a check of it without a doubt. But looks like Scotland do have the free kicks. Not a hugely threatening position, but they can try and create something from it. Central area just outside the centre circle to be taken here by Lewis Ferguson, just right of centre. Scotland get plenty of bodies forward, certainly. The centre backs have been thrown up, it's clipped out to the left hand side, helped back into the middle. Scotland can't get anyone on it when it's played back into a central area, so Ferguson will have to pick up possession once more and then go back to Angus Gunn midway inside his own half. The Nottingham Forest keeper, who played just once for Forest this season, it's flighted out to the left hand side. The referee spots an infringement by Kieran Tierney, and that is a cue for the hydration break. See, Pep Guardiola is in attendance here in Boston, wondering what his next gig is going to be as the players make their way off, but it gives us an opportunity to bring in another of our colleagues here, former Scotland international Leanne Crichton, who's been keeping a close eye on proceedings earlier. Leanne, Scotland couldn't have really got off to a worse start. What have you made of things since then?
No, a really poor start, Al. The worst possible start in the game. Everything that you plan to avoid, everything that your team talk would have entailed is out the window after a couple of minutes. It's taken Scotland a fair bit of time to get to grips with the game. I agree with Pat for the most part in terms of the role Hakimi's playing all over the pitch. It's so difficult to understand where he's going to be, but actually I don't know if Scotland needed to get caught up in a man marking type job that's happened for Kieran Tierney. He was caught so many times in terms of whether to stick or twist. Do you follow him to the complete opposite side of the pitch? Do you stay? Do you pass him on? Do you track him? And part of the problem even early on with the the goal, why Scotland are trying to play offside so early on in the game, why you're not just focusing on tracking runners and getting into that rhythm of defending. This was never going to be an easy night. It was always going to be tough against a really top opponent. It feels now we've maybe weathered the storm for a little bit, but we need to make a change here just now in terms of the structure, whatever that looks like during this water break. Is it going to be freeing up Kieran Tierney and just more focusing on becoming part of a back five that stays as a back five? Because surely he cannot be expected to chase Hakimi about this pitch. You cannot come to the World Cup and have a player man marking a guy that's playing right full back 1 minute and left wing the next. Scotland need to do much better in possession, and I said that after the game the other night. I still think our ball quality is really poor. I don't think our sixes are doing enough to go and take the balls off our back line and alleviate pressure, and when we get middle to front it's far too frenetic. It looks like we're making it up, and again, I don't think you can come to a World Cup and look like you're making it up. There has to be more clear patterns of play and structured patterns to allow you to get higher numbers up towards the penalty area, because right now we're sitting with sixes and sevens behind the ball when we do have it.
We can see on our monitors here, Pat, Steve Clarke having a fairly serious word with his players down there. What do you think the gist of that will be?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's saying, look, it's been very difficult for you just now, but it wouldn't necessarily go at that pace the entirety of the time. So I think he'll be saying you have to allow an understanding that Hakimi's not playing where he's playing. So you must pass him on, you must talk to each other. Leanne makes the point about our sixes not holding the ball. Christie's a good player, Ferguson's a good player, but none of them are Billy Gilmour. And that's it with Billy. He can control games. We've not got anyone who can control games and hold the ball in those areas.
I just don't think at times, Pat, they look like they want to take the ball, though. They're almost jogging into a space square onto the centre back. Even that wee bounce pass just allows you to bring the pressure, pop it round them, and you're away again, whereas it just looks to me really static.
And that's Billy Gilmour's game. So we're kind of missing Billy, although he is in the stadium today, we believe. But we have to deal with that, have to put up with it, and we shall see if Stevie Clarke's made any changes.
About to get back underway. Remember, 5 Live's coverage of every match in the group stage will continue after this one. Brazil-Haiti from Philadelphia is a 1:30 UK time kickoff, 8:30 here locally, and it'll be followed by Turkey against Paraguay from San Francisco. That is at 4 a.m. for all you night owls back there in the UK who want even more of a World Cup fix. We're back in action here. Scotland trailing by 1-0 against Morocco. The early strike coming from Ismail Saibari, and Scotland have really not troubled Yassine Bono at all in the Moroccan goal, as the Moroccans try and build from the back once more. It's Mazraoui of Man U again operating in that left back role, gets it back again from Unahi, and now Riyad picks up, plays it square for Diop.
It's actually just what I described a few moments ago. It's exactly what happened again. And watching Kieran Tierney, and he's trying to go with Hakimi, and he's passed him on. And the moment he's passed him on, Hakimi's saying, right, I'm between two, and he runs a different direction. And then both players are looking at each other and saying, who goes where? Who does what? He is a clever player.
Yeah, but Tierney's nicked it there. Couldn't quite find Shea Adams, who's ploughing that lone furrow through the middle. Goes back to Bono, out to the right hand side for Diop, just right of his penalty area, in the small part of the pitch which remains in the sunshine. It has dipped away behind us, most of the stadium now in shadow, as Morocco still have it inside their own penalty area. It's back with Bono once more from Riyad, and then Diop will this time go long and over the top, and Hendry reads that and heads it forward once more, but it'll be picked up by the Moroccan jersey. And now Diaz of Real Madrid drives away from one Scotland challenge up towards the edge of the penalty. A little 1-2 with Saibari. Diaz just forced wide, but Robertson's up against him. Onto the left foot, lays it back the way, and it's over the top on that occasion. This time from El Ainaoui, midfielder, but Brahim Diaz, as Pat was saying, so dangerous coming in off that right-hand side. But it does remain Scotland 0, Morocco 1.
Well, the speed, the change from, they're on their 18-yard line, and it's in the blink of an eye they've got up to what is almost a goal-scoring position there, and most of it was down to that man Brahim Diaz there. But the speed and the movement, and the ability to run off players is pretty spectacular. They are one of those teams, Morocco, that are so good that they will decide when they go at full speed. They will understand as a unit when they have to dial it up a little bit, and boy did they dial it up there. Really impressive to watch. And that was after one of Scotland's best pieces of possession of the game so far.
If you don't count that defeat in the AFCON final, which the authorities aren't at the moment, then you have to go back to January of 2024 for their last defeat. Came against South Africa. This is some team that Scotland are up against, and they trail by a goal to nil, the Scots. And certainly you have to say that Morocco are very much in charge of the game. Scotland barely getting a look in. John McGinn just closing down there. We barely mentioned him, Pat.
Yeah, it's been hard for him. He's had one opportunity to get the ball and turn with it, but basically ran into traffic at that point in time. And John, I suppose that's why I kind of favour that 3-4-2-1, because John plays more central. Put John out in the wing and he can sometimes get left out of the game.
Here he is, but he's lost it. He goes down, he claims he was pulled, but now he charges forwards without a whistle. Now the whistle will come in, and now he's just going into the back of Lewis Ferguson there as he covered for his teammate. But as you said earlier on, Pat, there's a couple of coming togethers which we've got used to being penalised in most leagues actually nowadays, but here at the World Cup it's actually quite refreshing, other than when it goes against the team you're trying to back, but otherwise it's quite refreshing to see contact not always being whistled against.
It's stunning how many times it happened in the game I was covering the other day with the French playing the Senegalese, and there are certain players that they can't get their heads around it. They built their careers on waiting for a touch, then falling down in a crumpled heap and hardly being touched. So yeah, if you have to relearn that, well, that's a good thing. I agree with you completely.
Here's Scott McTominay as Scotland fans find their voice once again. The whistles coming from the Morocco fans, with Scotland in possession here for a rather rare moment. McGinn plays it forward to Christie. Nice little turn away from his marker. Plays it out to the right hand side to Patterson. Midway inside the Morocco half, back in field. Just a little bit heavy. Christie well challenged there by El Anaoui, and then a couple of other bodies hit the deck off the ball as Saibari brings it forward on the left hand side. Does well to keep possession. It's it back in field for El Khanous, and then it's Mazraoui joining in. Into the Scotland half they come. Brahim Diaz takes over, driving up towards the edge of the Scotland penalty area on the angle of the box right hand side. Brings Boadi into play. He's further right, back to Hakimi, then Boadi once more. Boadi, the 18-year-old wonder kid. We expect him to move on from Lille probably this summer, but it'll be a blockbuster fee required to take this teenager who's so much is thought of around Europe.
You can tell you only need to watch him for 10 minutes and you think, actually, he's 18 going on 29. Completely completely comfortable where he is. And it's a World Cup. He's that age, and he's dominating the game. He's dominating the midfield, and he knows where to go. He takes the ball comfortably. Always knows what he's going to do with it, dragging players aside. He's just one of these people who has a very natural football brain.
Only recently signed up for Morocco, having converted from the French side that he represented up to under 21, but Morocco have won his heart, have won his name for competitive senior action, and he's representing them here again this evening. Scotland trailing by a goal to nil with about 11.5 minutes left of the opening 45. Morocco once again in possession at the back. It's Mazraoui just in off that left hand side, plays it to Boadi. Early ball out to Saibari, who's drifting away from that centre forward spot out to the left hand side. El Anaoui gets a bit lucky there to get another touch. El Khanous squeezes it through for Mazraoui into the penalty area left hand side, cuts it back, and it was Tierney, I think, in the way of that one to just knock it out of play on this near side as Morocco threatened down the left hand side on this occasion.
Exceptional play by Tierney. He saw where the danger was. He came all the way in for that far side there and made sure that he made the stop. And I think it might well have been that man Hakimi who was sitting there waiting for a tap-in just beside the penalty spot. But Tierney did his job, stuck with him.
Boadi just goes back the way over the halfway line to Diop, and now Riyad plays it into Roma's El Anaoui, 24-year-old son of Moroccan tennis legend Yunus El Anawi had to choose apparently between tennis and football as a child himself. Did Neil, but the Moroccan national team delighted that he chose football as Bladi switches play out to the left-hand side. Just a little bit too much on that for El Kanous as Steve Clarke makes his way to the edge of the technical area. I guess the most Steve Clarke can be happy or satisfied with so far, Pat, is that they're only one behind.
Yeah, one behind. I mean, that first 10-15 minutes was actually, I'll be honest with you, it was actually quite frightening. You just think, oh, this could be anything. This could be quite ugly if they can keep on playing that rate. But they haven't been able to do that, and that's another one not given.
Yeah, McTominay's run into trouble, and there's a ball in for El Kanous. He's ballooned it over the top. That is a real opportunity as Morocco broke in the counter once more. Scotland again claiming that there should have been a free kick gone in their favour. I just think McTominay's...
No, he's got that. Yeah. He's got that wrong, the referee.
Yeah, he's probably gone down. I was going to say McTominay a little bit clumsy in possession initially with his touch, but he is fouled subsequently.
He was taken out. The referee's just simply not spotted that one. I mean, it's a bit of a messy little bit of play there, but when the ball actually does break, he's allowed it to carry on. El Kanous, you'd expect better from him actually there. Yes, it's oddly enough, it's bobbled up just like the first goal. So it's a side foot. He's tried to do what you were suggesting a little bit earlier, try to give the eyes, try to volley it. In the end, when the ball bounces up like that, you keep it hard, you keep it on target, you don't worry about anything else. He didn't do that, and he ballooned it over the bar. Another little piece of relief for Scotland. And I suppose the concerning thing, to some degree, is for Scotland, is that there's not really been anything close to a half chance, has there? There's not been a shot on goal, nothing close to that. Though I would suggest to the listener, there is one thing. If Scotland can keep it to 1-0, there are options for Scotland late in the game. Gannon Doak, with his pace, can cause trouble to any players because of his pure pace. So, Scotland have done this before. They've played the rope-a-dope game where just hang on, and then have a go for the last 10 minutes. It's one of Stevie Clarke's methods, so we shall see if that's where he goes.
El Anawi was off the field there, having been treated. He's been allowed back on well before the minute. That's meant to be a minute, isn't it?
Exactly. Was that blood injury?
I mean, he went off. I think he was bleeding from the mouth, but I don't think that makes any difference to the amount of time he's meant to stay off. But he's just played the back heel here for Hakimi to race forward down the right-hand side, cuts into the penalty area, touches it back again for El Anawi. Hendry comes out to meet him. Still, it's the Roma midfielder. And Moroccan trying to get the ball into the box, trying to twist Hendry one way then the other, and he just rolls it back the way to the edge of the penalty area. Out once more to the right hand side, low ball in. It's good challenge from Hanley to deny Hakimi, and then Scotland have played it out well from the back as McTominay now finds Tierney bursting forward.
Well, that's
that is a free kick, and that should in that situation be a yellow card, because that is the definition of a promising attack being halted.
Yeah, and Kieran Tierney knew what he's doing there. He kind of ran across the player and he got, I mean, to be honest, it's a bit of a joke that he's pushed him and then he's trying to run over the top of Kieran Tierney there. By the way, we've just seen a little replay there of a move down the right hand side. Diaz is fabulous. He's absolutely brilliant, and his timing in the little back heel takes two players out of the game, and Scotland were quite fortunate to get away with that one again. But then again, you've got to say Moroccans, they've had one yellow card. That could very, very easily, and probably should have been another one. So Scotland get a chance to break. They have been taken out of the play. So I think Stevie Clarke would mention that. We're not going to get many breaks. So either give us a chance to book the player for not allowing it.
Eli now he's still playing with a sort of bloody rag in his mouth, which also didn't think would be allowed. Any blood on the pitch as Robertson swings a free kick in. It's just over Hanley. It will come to the back post to Hendry, who keeps it in with a poor touch. He's offside, is he? Offside. Was it? I'm not sure if that's an offside or a goal kick that they've given. I don't think it was either, to be quite honest with you, but the assistant referee signalled. I think he's given the goal kick, hasn't he? No, maybe not. Bono. I mean, Hendry's nowhere near.
That is bizarre. He's actually showing. Do you know this? What's happened? Assistant referee's got the wrong guy. The ball was played long, and it eventually goes wider, and he's seen the wrong player offside. That was simply not offside. Got it wrong.
Really strange. 39.5 on the clock. Scotland 0, Morocco 1. You listen to live coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Radio Scotland of Scotland at the World Cup, but they're losing here to Morocco. Goal came inside 90 seconds from Ismail Saibari, and Morocco, in all honesty, have bossed proceedings ever since, and here they are coming forward once more. It's Azzedine Ounahi of Girona out to the right hand side. The boos now from the Scotland fans as Morocco look to build once more. It's Diaz and Hakimi just playing the ball between themselves over on the right flank. Diaz, I think the man is getting booed right now.
It's actually Hakimi. It's actually Hakimi they're getting, trust me.
Good footwork there almost from Ounahi, but he couldn't quite wriggle through the bundle of Scotland players. And here comes Scotland again. It's Christie who's looking for a man outside to his left. No one appeared.
Horrible feeling that when you're running up the wing and there's 4 players around you. You have absolutely nowhere to go. The only chance you've got there is hoping you can draw a foul off somebody, but the Moroccans didn't do that, and that's been part of Scotland's problem. When they have managed to break a little bit, they haven't been able to do so in numbers.
Yeah, Tierney was nowhere to be seen. He was sitting in a more defensive midfield position at that point, as Christie desperately needed him to join him on the left hand side. We've got about 4 minutes left of the opening 45 plus added on time as Boadi picks up as Morocco look for a second before half time, and that would make it all the more difficult obviously for Scotland to take anything, the point that they so desperately needs or desire from this game to take them through to the knockout stages. It's Saibari, the goal scorer, left hand side. Can't squeeze the pass through though. Scotland have picked up. McGinn under pressure here from Boadi and Saibari. Morocco have won it back, then down goes Boadi. It's a handball. He was basically gathering the ball in with his hands, assuming that he was going to get a free kick. The referee is having none of it. Uzbekistani Ilgiz Tantashev, and on that occasion Scotland get the benefit of the doubt, and they will get
that. Am I wrong here? That is the definition of a yellow card. You deliberately hand the ball. That's the definition of it. Why is that not? What is he doing? That is absolute nonsense.
He's been quite lenient with the potential yellow, certainly, but he's...
oh, you're so polite, Al, sometimes. You really are. You're so fair and balanced.
Ball's fed forward, looking for Tierney. It's over his head all the way through to Bono in the Moroccan goal. He's been completely untroubled, you'd have to say, in this first period by the Scots attack. The 35-year-old who plays his football in Saudi with Al Hilal.
You're talking about that there, you know, saying he's deliberately handled it, and he has. He's went to grasp it in. And, you know, we're not being biased here pro-Scotland or anything. Scotland are second best here by a massive distance. I'm not saying we're getting beat by a bad referee, but it is a little bit odd. And in some ways, almost Scotland's best chance is to somehow hold on a little bit, and maybe the opposition will get down to 10 men if they keep on doing these stupid things.
Well, that's a foul by Riyad. He claims he won the ball there off John McGinn, but his free kick has been given. The other thing I would say, Pat, is that Morocco, I think, definitely tired in the second half against Brazil, so you have to hope that that might be the case, albeit Scots might do the same, having chased Morocco around the field for large parts of this first half.
Again, that was a really silly challenge. I mean, he just dived in there. John McGinn's going nowhere there. And if you're a fullback, show him down the line and show him out. You've got players around you, so, they're very, very good, Morocco. They're not perfect.
Yeah, a little bit rash in the decision-making at times as Lewis Ferguson prepares to take the free kick just a few yards in off the right touchline, midway inside the Morocco half. Swung in with the right boots, a good-looking ball right into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a Moroccan head that gets it, takes it all the way out to the right-hand side, and will be picked up by Hakimi, who feeds it forward. That's a little bit aimless, though, from their superstar, and picked up by the Scots just about 15 yards inside their own half. It's back with Ferguson inside the centre circle. Forward it goes on this right-hand side to McGinn, who tries to swivel away from Riyad, and in as Mazraoui actually is trying to take on, and Mazraoui goes down. And on this occasion, he does get the free kick after kind of minimal contact, but probably a little clip of the heels there on Mazraoui. The free kick goes Morocco's way in the last minute of the 45.
Rather hilariously, the referee said he pushed him in the back. You never touched him in the back, but he did clip his heels. So it was definitely a free kick.
Good defensive header from Saibari from that free kick. Actually, we've just seen it back. Hanley wasn't too far away from getting on the end of it, but the man who's got the only goal of the game so far doing good work at the other end as Bono takes the free kick from outside his penalty area down the left hand side, but it's straight out of play as we await the fourth officials board, which will indicate exactly how much will be added on at the end of this first period. Christie turns the ball back to Hanley, who in turn plays it back to Angus Gunn, who's had to pick the ball out of the net earlier on in this game. Otherwise, he hasn't had a massive amount to do, and Scotland will hope that continues at least till the break, and they can get themselves into the changing room and regroup and come up with a master plan for the second period. 5 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Scotland trailing by a goal to nil, scored by Ismail Saibari, and Morocco certainly good value for it.
Although I'd say the last 10-15 minutes have been by some distance Scotland's best little period, without really doing anything extra special.
Good ball from McTominay. Robertson picks up, back into McTominay, about 25 yards from goal, left hand side, has to turn the ball back the way though to Henry, just inside the Morocco half shot. Ball to Ferguson, and now it's Christie in the centre of the park, turns it out to Patterson. Good ball, gets it out of his feet, early ball in, Adams can't get it, it's going to come all the way through to Robertson on the left hand side, early ball back into the back post, McGinn can't turn it goalwards. He was on his right foot, he was up against it angle wise, and it's behind for a goal kick. But just as you were talking about Scotland's best period, Pat, probably their best move of the game.
Yeah, you might think that Scotland have been passive up until now. I don't think they have, they've just been outpassed. However, the Moroccans haven't kept it going to quite that level, and Scotland with that really good move there, left hand side, typical Andy Robertson, brilliant ball in there. You've put it with pace between the centre backs and goalkeeper. It's up to the forwards to get there. John McGinn was very, very close to getting there and at the back post. And we'll see if he class do something to work with now. If he does go into half-time 1-0 down, there are little bits and pieces beginning to show now.
That's a good ball from Patterson in field for McGinn. He's got a bit of space to drive into here. Waddy trying to get back with him. McGinn out to the left-hand side. Scotland with an opportunity here, swung into the middle looking for Adams, but it was Job who got there first. Ferguson picks up, manages to get it back to Tierney. Chance now for Adams, potentially left hand side of the box, turns it back to Tierney, tries to crash it goalwards, but it's well blocked. But Scotland definitely in the ascendancy just in these final moments of the first half.
Yeah, last thing we want now is that half-time whistle. Much better. Haven't panicked. It wasn't a great display in the first quarter of the game for Scotland, but lifted it now, and you can see it, you can feel it. It's really growing now from that Scotland team. Although I don't know what they're holding. It's holding play up to look at something.
Yeah, it's just waving Tierney on now. I think it was a quick VAR check, not sure what it was for, but
possible handball in the box.
Nothing coming of it as Tierney launches the long throw in from the left hand side, flicked on into a dangerous area, but Mazraoui hacks it clear. Scotland looking for an equaliser, but haven't really yet managed to test Bono, but they're certainly having their best period of the game thus far in these closing stages of stoppage time here in the Boston Stadium. The Tartan Army still believing, trailing just by 1-0 with a couple of minutes of stoppage time left, but just something for Morocco to think about. Scotland aren't necessarily here just to allow them to coast to victory, as it's played forward down the right hand side. McGinn trying to spin away from his man Mazraoui, but it's gone all the way out for a throw in to the Moroccans, who probably be quite content at this stage just to let the clock tick down towards half time. The referee indicating no, they need to get on with it. 5 seconds to take the throw in. They've taken it now. Played forward, but only to Ferguson. Ferguson lifts it back in. It looked like he was caught late there. The referee didn't spot it. Morocco tries to get it clear. Then McTominay goes down again. The referee says play on. Scotland still have it. Going back the way to Hanley. The Scotland fans not happy on occasion with the referee just allowing things to go. For the most part, football fans generally will welcome that on the whole, not necessarily, as I say, when it goes against your team.
You have to understand the referee's style. If that's his style, you use it. You say, okay, then we don't go down. We expect that we can actually, be a little bit more muscular against the opposition, because you'll allow that to some degree. So it's been clever with it. I mean, we can see immediately the referee's allowing this to play. If there's a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of physicality, it's okay. Everything isn't a foul. Okay, then use it to your advantage.
Christie goes down.
Not getting that. Not getting that.
Free kick, yeah. The theme continues, and it's picked up by El Khanous left-hand side. Can Morocco force one more opportunity late in stoppage time? They lead by a goal to nil here in the Boston Stadium, and this That second group match for both sides. Morocco having drawn their opener against Brazil. Very impressive form, it has to be said, and leading here after the Scots topped the group following their victory. Narrow victory, hard-fought victory, but victory nonetheless over Haiti. Morocco just knocking the ball about, waiting for the half-time whistle to come here, and it's going to come imminently. And there it is. So Morocco will go in with the advantage. It was given to them just a couple of minutes into the game by Ismail Saibari with his second goal of the tournament. Another wonderful finish from him as the ball was fed forward over a rather static backline of Scotland. The offside flag remained down correctly, and then it was battered beyond Angus Gunn from an angle by Saibari. Morocco really took charge, were the more threatening side almost throughout, but Scotland did begin to come back into it towards the end of that first half. And so, Pat Nevin, as they go in at half-time, all is not lost for Scotland.
No, it isn't. I mean, if you watch Scotland for long enough, you know that this can happen. You know, teams can really look as if they're going to hammer us. We hold on and we hold on, we hold on. It sounds like the Braveheart movie here. And we hold long enough, we'll get the opportunities. Because there's some good players in that Scotland team. And one thing they have got is the resilience. They keep on fighting, keep on battling. And they've got strength. And they've also got opportunities to bring on the players on who'll change the game. So, 1-0 down, second best. Looks as if it could be more than that first 15-20 minutes. Will Steve Clark be panicking? No, he absolutely won't. He'll realise that's happened. We'll get on with it, and we'll ask different questions in the second half.
Half-time in the Boston Stadium. Scotland 0, Morocco 1.
Sports Sound at the World Cup.
Scotland versus Morocco, live from Boston. The World Cup, live on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
The World Cup lives here.
The Saturday Show with Amy Irons and Stephen Mill, live from the Soccer World Series.
Are we still doing the World Series gag?
We're in the US of A, drinking in the World Cup atmosphere.
While the Tartan Army are drinking in the World Cup atmosphere.
Join us for the Saturday Show, live from Boston, as we reflect on the Morocco game, first thing in the morning.
Just a matter of hours after the final whistle.
Yeah, about that. Are we actually going to get any sleep after the game?
Hard not, Mill.
BBC Radio Scotland presents The Saturday Show at the World Cup, live from Boston. Tomorrow morning from 9 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Half-time in Boston in Group C of the World Cup final. Scotland 0, Morocco 1. Saibari with a goal on 2 minutes. Willie Miller alongside me here in the studio. Leanne Crichton, Pat Nevin and Tom English out in Boston for us. Willie, it was a really concerning start. You're thinking, how many is this going to be? But to be fair, quite heartened by the end of that first half.
Yeah, I think we've got through it in the first half. I mean, there have been other opportunities. El Canoes had a chance down the left-hand side, puts it over the bar. Elanawi as well, he does the same the other side of the box as well, puts it over the bar. So there has been opportunities for them to increase the lead, but it's been a really tough first 45. I think the best part of it is when you finish the last 5 minutes or so looking as though that you can actually take part in the game, in a forward manner. So I think from that point of view, then you take heart. It looks as though Morocco have maybe dropped the pace a bit, towards maybe the last 10-15 minutes of the first half, and you hope that maybe continue in the second half as well. I think we've made an impression on them, and we've certainly seen a bit of the ball in the last 5-10 minutes of that first half, but up until then, and to lose the goal so early down that our left hand side as well, and trying to play offside. I think it was Grant Hanley that's stepping out, I'm not 100% sure. And Saibari, I mean, he doesn't miss these, does he? And he just rattles it into the. I think he does look across. I think he does give Angus Gunn the eyes, but there's only one thing in his mind, I felt, was that he was going to, volley that into the back of the net, and it was almost past Gunn before he could react to it. He was standing.
Powerful, wasn't it?
And it was powerful. And he's kind of throwing a hand out, and he's not really anywhere near it. He doesn't actually get the flight of the ball, and it's in the back of the net. So what a dreadful start. But And saying that, you know, there's resilience there, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, they haven't gave up, they've kept their shape, and they've fought tirelessly to get themselves a little bit back into it. But you're only talking about 5-10 minutes, maybe the last 5-10 minutes of that first half. But I think it gives Steve Clarke something to work with at half time. You know, and if they come out and are as passive as what they were in that last 10-15 minutes, Morocco were, then you know you never know. And there's only one goal in it too. We haven't tested their goalkeeper at all, but there's been signs there. You know, the Andy Robertson cross, McGinn, really difficult one for him to get in the end of and there's been, you know, some decent link-up play as well. So there's been threats, but it's been very short and sharp threats. There's not been enough of them. It's a difficult game for Scotland because they are so good, but I feel as though they've taken the foot off it a little bit. Maybe the tempos went down, maybe a little bit like the Brazil game, where they really started potently, but you know, it kind of drifted a little bit for them. Then they ended up getting the draw out of it, when perhaps the first half performance would have said that they should have won that one. But at 1-0, you know, Scotland still got a chance. They've got the opportunity here in the second half to do something really special and get that draw. It's not going to be easy, and they're going to have to be organised at the back. And I just wonder if Steve Clarke is contemplating changing it at half time, or whether he'll wait to the usual 60-65 minutes or so before he makes any changes. You know, has the formation worked? I don't think it's been that bad, but when you put Tierney out there to try and stop the service over the top down that side, and within 90 seconds or so, you know, ends up in the back of the net, and that's what you're trying to stop, then obviously it hasn't worked on that occasion. But as the game went on, I don't think Tierney's looked out of place, to be perfectly honest. I thought he might have, you know, playing that sort of a midfield left position, but at the same time I think Scotland could be more productive. I think you know, I don't know if Tierney would be the man that you would hope would produce that productive play. I think there's better players in the bench that could be brought on.
Leanne, talk to us then about the formation and the game plan that you believe Steve Clarke is trying to implement.
It's been nuts. I'm being honest. The first 20 minutes, Kenny, honestly, I've thought, what is going on? I know I had tried to rationalise Tierney playing left mid, and I thought the only rationale was that he was to do a man marking job in Hakimi, but honestly, not for 1 second did I think he would be man marking him for as much as he was. Literally following him over every blade of grass. Almost drifted for right full back to left wing at one point, and Tierney thought about tracking him the whole way, which is just bonkers. I don't think Scotland are that many levels below Morocco that we need to deploy that type of man marking role. I think it's too difficult. It brings far too much confusion, and it seems to have settled a little bit, but a lot of that's because Morocco are not carrying the same intensities as Willie and the guys have mentioned there, and they did the same against Brazil. I think their XG in the Brazil game was something like 1.54 in the first half, and it was 0.54 in the second half. It had dropped quite considerably. It tends to be the way they go about games, a lot of energy, all guns blazing. But for Scotland, I just felt we could have had so much more control. I think Tierney's grown into the role out in that left-hand side, but more out of possession, if I'm being honest, in terms of that middle to defensive third. But when the ball's higher up the pitch, he doesn't know how to go and press the game the way a wide forward would, or a striker, or a midfielder in those moments. When to jump higher, when to go, how to show inside, how to show outside. It's just not his natural instincts, and when you play against top teams, you tend not to get that too much. You don't get enough time to make those decisions and to be delayed with those decisions. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a change even at half time just now, because I do think we need to get Gannon Doak into the game. We need to have the ability to get up the pitch, Kenny, and it's just not happening. We've been much better in the last 10 minutes or so, and a lot of that's down. The best pattern of play came from Angus Gunn joining in the build-up a little bit longer. The centre-backs moving the ball, linking through the middle of the pitch in terms of the sixes, going through one centre-back into the middle of the pitch, back out opposite centre-back. They then linked back in through the middle of the pitch, and they hit the switch of play on the opposite side. you need to enjoy the ball. You cannot afford to not stay in possession, and everybody needs to join in and want to keep the ball. And for the first 35 minutes, it just looked so frantic, in and out of possession. So I feel that we've settled now. I think the distances have been much better. I think we've come closer. There's consistency at points where we're going for a back four to a back five, just in those moments, almost that final third when it's the defensive moments, or somebody's been caught out of position and it's Tierney that's recovered in the inside, which gives you that back five. But I just feel like there's so much more we can be doing. I think we can be so much better than we are. We're playing against a good team, I totally get it. The intensity we've struggled to match. I'm not sure it's Shea Adams' night up top, if I'm being honest. I think you could put Lauren Shankland up there and he would do a better job at linking the game and bringing midfielders into play. And I don't know if Pat agrees or disagrees in terms of how he's looked at the game with that as well. But I just think he's been a lone ranger up there without having any real success at all. The balls that are being put up to Shea Adams are no balls that are going in behind and are stretching a back line. They're balls that are being played up 40, 50 yards with 40 and 50 yards of space between him and his closest midfielder. So that cannot happen. That is not going to be a route to go. So we need to get the distances closer. I don't mind the shape and I don't mind the understanding. We need to drop the man marking role that Tierney has in Hakimi and find a better solution to how we just box off the middle of the pitch, bank up in numbers, force him down the outside, and then accept that you're going to need to defend your box. We've got Henry in there, we've got Hanley in there, you've then got Patterson recovering in that opposite side, you've got good height in terms of your midfield recovery runs with McTominay and Ferguson. So aerially and numbers wise you can defend your box, but I just think there was a few, probably too many players a bit unsure about what their roles and responsibilities looked like once they were out in the pitch.
Yeah, Leanne's bang on, Tom. There have been a couple of occasions where the ball's been played into Shea Adams. It's just not stuck at all. Your possession is given straight back to Morocco. What have you made overall of the game? They, of course, have dominated possession. We expected that, but the word resilience has been used by Willie and by Pat, and we're still in this.
I'm massively relieved, I have to tell you, because like everybody else, first 20 minutes I thought this could be 2 and 3 and this could be game over by half time. But Scotland have stuck in there. They've had to ride their luck a little bit. I see Morocco getting a little bit frustrated with themselves out there. They've had one shot on target, and that was the goal. You know, they've had a lot of moments. There was a lot of danger there, but the danger has started to dissipate as the half has gone on. As Scotland grew into it. Now, Scotland's inaccuracy has been a big problem. They've been giving the ball away. They've been getting muscled off it quite a bit. But their self-belief, you could see it in the last 7, 8, 9 minutes. They started to put something together, maybe started to believe in themselves. I think at half-time, like obviously Steve Clarke is going to be concerned because his team are 1-0 down. But I don't think his counterpart is going to be all that pleased because they have wasted moments. They're not dominating this game the way they did in the first 20 minutes. And they're asking for trouble. Now, if you can get Gannon Doak on the pitch soonish, that's another dimension. That's an ace in the pack for Scotland to try and make something happen. So I was living off my nerves for 20-25 minutes. I'm not saying I'm confident, but I'm not as panicky as I was, put it that way, because I think Scotland have settled into this game. They're still second best, clearly, but I think they've started to ask Morocco a few questions, and Morocco, I think Leon used the word intensity, and their intensity has dropped. It did drop against Brazil. It's dropped again here. I'm not saying they're not going to pick it up again and score another one or another two, but right now I'm happy enough. Like, if this is to be 1-0 to Morocco, I'm happy enough with that. You obviously want more for Scotland, but 1-0 in the context of getting out of the group, 1-0 is not a bad outcome for Scotland, but clearly they will want to get more than that.
Yeah, you're right. It was head and hands for the first 10 or 15 minutes there. They're clearly a very, very good side, Pat. What changes are you looking to see from Steve Clarke? Is Ben Gannon Doak the key one that we need to get on as soon as possible?
I don't think so. I'm not sure as soon as possible, but yes, he is the main one you want to get on. He will stretch them. Remember, the longer this game goes on, the more tired their defenders will get. And if Ben Gannon Doak comes on, how much has he got of absolute extreme pace? Has he got 45 minutes of it? Is he maybe only get 30? If you give explosive stuff and you're only going to get 20-25 minutes of explosive stuff, tell you what, make it the last 25 minutes. Just bring him on for that and try and do it. Tom said a great line there. You wouldn't be too disappointed if we won there. I'll change that a wee one couple of words there. I won't be too disappointed if it's 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go. I think we take that now and say, right, okay, let's have a go now. Now, there is the other question of if you have, right, let's have a go now and leave it wide open and lose 2 goals in the breakaway. We may well have blown our chances completely. But in reality, I think, remember the Norway game away from home, even the game against Denmark, Stevie Clark's done this before, where you've kind of, put up with the pressure, maybe lost a goal. I've watched plenty of teams down south doing it. Okay, 1-0 down, we're against a bigger team. But we'll wait for the last 15 minutes and we'll come out swinging. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see here.
Well, let's hope so. They are a class side, but we are still very much in this game. Back then to our commentary team out there in Boston. That is Pat Nevin and Alistair Lamont.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Boston Stadium. Scotland make their way back out onto the field. The Moroccans still in the tunnel. Just looking down, it doesn't look like Scotland are going to make any half-time changes. So Steve Clark's sticking with what he's got so far.
Would be a temptation now, maybe, if Scotland had had that difficulty they had for the first 30-35 minutes. What about if it was the whole 45? He might well have made changes, but because of that last 10 little minutes there, you might think, okay, right, we're turning this round. He maybe had it in his mind to change him, and then maybe thought, yeah, give it another 10, give it another 15.
Here come Morocco then, making their way down the far end of the pitch, away to our left-hand side. Remember, Morocco all in white tonight, Scotland all in navy blue, and it is Morocco who leads by a 1-0. The goal coming in 71 seconds, apparently, from Ismail Saibari. A wonderful strike it was past Angus Gunn. First goal Scotland have conceded at this World Cup. And, well, as the guys have been saying, a narrow victory is not the end of... a narrow defeat is not the end of the world. Narrow victory would be absolutely marvellous.
I'll tell you that.
For Scotland, but 3 points might yet be enough for third place teams to go through. It will be Scotland to get us back on the way, going from right to left as we look at it from our position high up in the stands in this wonderful stadium, as the countdown is underway again, and Scotland kick us off, and it's kicking for touch.
Yep.
Again, it's come more and more into play, isn't it? It's more like a rugby kick-off, kicking for territory almost, and it's gone out of play right down at the corner flag on this near side. And it is Hakimi who's getting the treatment from the Scotland fans here as he prepares to take the throw-in into Vladi and then back to Hakimi, right in his goal line. Hits it long up towards Saibari. The header's won though by Hendry. No changes incidentally for Morocco either. That's a slightly wayward back pass, but out comes Angus Gunn well out of his penalty area to thump it long. Headed towards the left-hand side there by Mazraoui, as Scotland will win possession back, and they will be looking, Pat, obviously to almost pick up where they left off at the end of that first period and try and take the game to the Moroccans.
What was very noticeable there, Scotland did win the ball back there, and it wasn't a panicked pass after that. It was a more controlled pass after that, and it was a ripple of applause from the turnaround as if to say, that's what we need to do. They know it, they get it. Hold possession, be comfortable in the game, and then the confidence will grow, and you can see that's exactly what they're trying to do now.
Yeah, McGinn and Christie linking up well. Really good play from the Aston Villa captain out towards the Bournemouth man, and still got it, Scotland, and you can hear the Tartan Army just beginning to perhaps feel a little bit more confident, and that perhaps there could be something in this game for them, as Robertson has it left-hand side. Scotland 0, Morocco 1 in the early stages of the second period here in Foxborough, about 22 miles south of Boston. As Scotland continue to knock it about at the back. It's Hanley getting it back from Ferguson, and still Morocco don't really go full throttle with the press. It's out to the left-hand side here for Hendry, who's able to advance, and he plays it out to Robertson. Robertson with one touch and then swings it into the penalty area. Jop's in the way and he heads out for a Scotland throw-in. And again, you can hear the Scotland fans getting behind their side because they've started the second half pretty positively. The referee is trying to tell Kieran Tierney he needs to pull his socks up, quite literally. Not happy with them rolled down to his ankles as Tierney prepares to take this throw in. Just dry the ball off, dry his hands off, because it's still a little bit humid out there, a little bit sticky, as he tries to get as much purchase here on the ball. And it comes from the left hand side to the near post. Bladdy goes up, it's over him. Shea Adams gets something on it, but it's headed out of the penalty area. But then Scotland have it back through Tierney left hand side. He plays it into Ferguson. Ferguson going back the way into the centre circle. Christie now turning away from his man. Back it goes. A little touch there from the Moroccans as they pick up possession. Again, it's that man Brahim Diaz, so skillful, so talented, the Real Madrid player. Little 1-2 there with Saibari, and then blocked off by McGinn, but there's no foul, and it's McGinn advancing now up towards the edge of the penalty area. Not too much support with him. Shea Adams is inside the penalty. Down goes McGinn, and the referee says no. Inside the penalty area, but the referee is not having any of it. VAR will have a look. Pat, I think you shook your head there.
I didn't think it was a penalty from here, but VAR have a good look at it. We'll see it again. He's flicked it by and waited for the hit. Let's have again. Has the thigh on thigh. Now, if you're the player running with the ball and you flicked it past and the thigh hits your thigh, it will knock you off your stride. But you generally don't get penalties for it. But that's what happens. It hit. And it's when you're asking people who have not played at that level to understand what happens there. I know what it feels like. You're getting past the person and they're looking for a kick. It's not a kick. It's a thigh has hit your thigh once you've gone past them. Do you know if we'd have got that, I wouldn't have argued. I'd have said, yeah, that's fine, get that. But you generally don't get those ones.
No, and it's not going to be overturned by VAR either. The referee's been telling Bono he's got 5 seconds to take the goal kick for about 10 seconds, but he's not turning that into a corner as he's supposed to. But well, Scotland initially get the benefit of the doubt in the middle of the park as McGinn made the challenge, and we welcome that from a Scotland point of view, but not the penalty decision. That did not go Scotland's way, and so it remains Scotland 0, Morocco 1. But Scotland maybe just feel a little sense of injustice as they try and find an equaliser. But here come Morocco looking to threaten for the first time in the second half, and it's cut back for Saibari. The deflections off the top of the bar and onto the roof of the net, and a sigh of relief breathed by the Tartan Army as El Khanous almost did the damage there going down the left hand side. And it was a good challenge in the end, I think, by Hanley to deflect onto the crossbar.
I'm not sure it was Hanley. I think he came across from the right hand side. It was Hendry maybe.
Hendry got in with the final challenge.
Yeah,
right.
Did, and it's, to be honest, he was second favourite to get that, but he put his body in the way and got there and stopped what looked like an almost certain goal there. But again, the pace of the break when they decided to go was really quite scary from the Moroccans.
Short corner taken on the left hand side. It's back with Diaz. The right foot this time, so two-footed, flights it towards the back post, looked like it glanced off a Scotland head, and indeed the referee signals for another corner, this time on the near side.
I think that's given the Moroccans a wee fright, that, given the fact that Scotland might have just had a penalty kick there. You know, they've lifted it again. They start quite sluggish again in the second half. Scotland were on the front foot there. The Scotland fans are not happy with how long it's taken Hakimi to take this. In fact, they're not happy with Hakimi. Period.
Right hand side then, Achraf Hakimi, the captain of Morocco, as the referee keeps a close eye on what's going on inside that penalty area. Here is Hakimi, right footed, outswinger, near post header, brilliantly saved by Gunn at his near post. He was a yard or two off his line and almost cut out by the header from El Khanous at the near post, but he recovered in time to keep it out. But that was a close run thing.
It's a great save, that, because you're absolutely right. He'd taken a step to go the other way, and you know, just got back to it, got two big strong hands on it. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a shot that ripped ever. I've just seen it. I'm trying to see who it was.
I know. I think it's been a man who's been told he has to go off and get a change of shirt.
Actually, I'm watching the pool that happened there. Was it possibly John McGinn or whatever? I think the problem with the shirt. I think they need to get better made shirts. It just came apart with it wasn't as if he's running at pace. They were just standing beside each other. The shirt disintegrated.
Scotland 0, Morocco 1, but almost a second Morocco goal there from the El Canoes header. Gunn keeping it out. Here they come again. Inside Barry, just challenged well inside the penalty area, and it runs back to the Scotland goalkeeper, who's kept his side. Just a goal behind. A poor pass from Ferguson out to the right hand side. Patterson will go and try and retrieve it. He's under pressure here. It's done well though. To be fair, I think he played it straight out of play, but I think Patterson's actually done okay.
No, I'm with you, absolutely with you. Yeah, give the ball away there, but do you know, it's really early on in the game, Scotland looked really nervy. Now, no wonder you lost a goal after 70 seconds or something. They don't look quite so nervy in the second half. They're passing it much better, and certainly looking for the ball, look more comfortable. As we would say in Scotland, a wee bit more gallus, a wee bit more confident, and you need to see that at this level. You must have that belief in yourself in the ball, and I think Willie Miller was saying that at half-time. Not seeing enough of it early on. The referee's let another one go.
Yeah, I think Scotland have got that message, haven't they, that they can get a bit more physical with this Moroccan side, because they're not going to be penalised every single time.
That's the point I made in the first half.
Yeah,
if you know it's a referee, okay, use it to your advantage, and that's what Scotland are doing, and that's good to see.
Hendry midway inside his own half, plays it square to Hanley. Scotland were looking to win consecutive games at a major tournament for the very first time. Never won more than one in any single tournament. I think they would settle for a point if it was offered to them right this second. Not too worried about the victory, as Tierney under pressure knocks it back the way to Hendry, just inside his own half. We've played almost 54 minutes in this second period. Live coverage of Scotland-Morocco on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Radio 5 Live. Brazil, Haiti to follow us on 5 Live. You'll get a bit of chat post-match here on the Scotland game before Radio Scotland joins 5 Live again for that commentary, as Morocco this time do get a free kick for the challenge made over on the far side by Ferguson.
Well, Ferguson's claiming he got the ball. To be honest, it wasn't a huge amount, and it looked from a distance if it's quite a bad foul. Because he's jumped up in the air, then rolled over 4 times, maybe made it look a lot worse than it was. But again, not too bad a start from Scotland, getting on towards the 55th minute. And at this point in time, Stevie Clarke will be thinking. His mind will be beginning to work a little bit now, and you need to make some decisions. Is 1-0 enough? Scotland have done it again, won it well.
It's Ferguson who's won it, up against Boadi here on the left-hand side of the Moroccan box. Down goes Ferguson, the referee points for a goal kick. You've got to be fair to the referee. He's doing exactly the same thing for both sides. The Tartan Army are booing him just now, but it was probably no more in that challenge than there was in the one when Scotland won it.
I think the only downside is in Ferguson's getting down there. I think he's hurt his shoulder. I think he's damaged himself. Oh, he's holding his face. Yeah. That's too weird. The thing is, he's off the pitch now. The game has started. Now, we'll see if the referee allows him to come on. Oh, he has.
Scotland 0, Morocco 1 with 10 minutes gone, as Boadi offers Ferguson the hand of conciliation there. And Morocco have it at the edge of the penalty area. But I think they know they're in a game now. Perhaps they were very comfortable first half hour, you would have to say, but Scotland have come back into it, and the margin, the trail by remains just the one, conceded inside 71 seconds.
I mentioned Scotland manager Stevie Clarke's brain will be whirring, and then I've just looked down, and out of the dugout come 5 players there to start warming up. And this is often the games in World Cups, you need to make lots of decisions very, very quickly, and most of them have to be good decisions. And the substitutions here are going to be massive. They're going to change the game, they're going to change the style of the game, they're going to change a lot of the players are capable of doing here. You're not getting much out of Robertson going forward, but if you start adapting it, he might be able to fly forward a little bit. And of course, we're all looking down there with the hope that Ben Gannon-Doak has recovered for that. And well, I say it was injured, it was cramp, I think, in that first game, because he could make a difference to this game.
The Moroccan fans very much adding to the colour here inside the Boston Stadium, most of them in their traditional red kit, some with that away one that they're wearing tonight, as Boadi comes forward, tries to feed it in for Hakimi, well cut out though by Robertson. Scotland have it back through McTominay, good feet from him to keep possession deep in his own half, then fed forward by Robertson. Christie couldn't latch onto it, and Morocco pick up and might be able to pick Scotland off here. It's into Diaz. Will he go right, will he go left? Blocked, and as he attempts the shot inside the penalty area. That's the danger part when someone is so two-footed, you just don't know which way to show him.
It's horrible, and obviously you have to get your hands by your side, which affects your balance anyway, trying to make a tackle, and Diaz knew that. He's trying everything to get round, but happily the Scottish defending on this occasion was good enough.
The sun just about setting here in that northeast corner of the USA, where the Scotland fans have made their home for the last 10 days or so. It's been amazing to experience, hasn't it, Pat, the way the Bostonians have taken to the Scotland fans?
Yeah, it's been amazing, but ain't that always the way with Scotland when they travel? Everywhere you go, and sometimes you only go for 2 or 3 days. And as we're speaking just now, is that, I'm trying to see if that was Kieran Tierney that's
Tierney's
gone down.
Yeah,
he's gone down, and that might just force Stevie Clarke's hand at this point in time, because when Kieran has so many injuries, and watching him play for Celtic this season, you know, they managed him well. Sometimes only gave him 50, 60 minutes, then took him off because of the injuries he's had in the past. He's putting a shift out there without a shadow of a doubt, but I think that change is definitely going to be made by Stevie Clarke, and I think most Scotland fans watching or listening will not be disappointed by who's coming on.
No, indeed, you set that up nicely. Ben Gannon-Doak getting the final instructions from Stephen Naismith, the assistant manager. It looks like he will replace Kieran Tierney, who's been attended to just now by the Scotland medical team. But Gannon-Doak, you are about to see him come on for the closing just over half an hour. Let's see what kind of impact he can make. Electric quick as Tierney gets back to his feet, and he'll be helped off the field of play.
Do you know the obvious thing now is if he brings on Gannon-Doak, do you keep Gannon-Doak on the left or do you put him on the right? Well, I'm watching him, he's going on the right, and I'm delighted with that. I'm absolutely delighted to bring over John McGinn possibly. Yeah, John McGinn will come to the left. Leanne spotted that sharp as anything as ever, and absolutely spot on. It makes absolute sense because Gannon-Doak is so much more dangerous than the right hand side. He's had a few games for Scotland on the left, and listen to that noise from the Scotland fans. That's a sound of appreciation that they've got Gannon-Doak on. Let's hope Scotland can get the ball to him, or at least get the ball into an area he can chase.
First change of the game then. Gannon-Doak on for Tierney as Ferguson hoists it forward up towards Adams. Challenged there by Riyad, breaks the way of Morocco, and forward it goes from Mazraoui. Scotland have it back again. It's Hanley into the feet of McTominay on the halfway line with his back to goal, just plays it back to Hendry, and now Robertson, left hand side, no chances being taken. He rolls it to his goalkeeper Angus Gunn. Hanley once more now right hand side, thought about the longer ball forward, then he goes short to Ferguson, who squeezes it out to the right hand side to Patterson. Back the way once more for Hanley and into Ferguson. There's certainly more assuredness about the Scotland performance in this second half.
Just a moment there, you're looking at Ferguson in the midfield there, and he's kind of wanting the ball, but not as much as, you know, the likes of Billy Gilmore, who wants it every single time. You need to show for it there.
Here come Morocco, they're picked up on the left-hand side. This is looking ominous. The ball played into the box. Hendry took up a good position once more, though he's played well in there as Scotland try to play it out from the back, but they've given it away once more. Boadi once again first to the loose ball, just always looks so composed as Mazraoui comes forward. Did he go down under the challenge here from Ben Gannon-Doak? Yes, and it is going to be a free kick just outside the penalty to the left-hand side, in a promising position this for Morocco.
Do you know what's very interesting there? Off that ball there, that free kick was happening, but I was watching Hakimi going forward, and he's now got McGinn to chase him. And to be honest, that's not perfect. That's not great for Scotland. You know, McGinn's not a natural defensive player. He's not naturally somebody who runs at pace and follows the player. So it might become a problem for Scotland. We shall see.
Hakimi then over this free kick on the left-hand side with the right foot, just about 20 yards from the goal line. It can't beat the first man. It's headed high in there. Morocco looking to keep the pressure on though at the edge of the Scotland box. It's Patterson who heads it clear this time. Breaks again for a Morocco player out on the left-hand side. Is Hakimi again. Shooting opportunity, but he can't get the whip he was looking for. And Angus Gunn sees it wide. And on 62 minutes, it's still Scotland 0, Morocco 1. The thoughts of Pat Nevin?
Not much between the two teams in this second half. They've kind of fallen off a little bit. The Moroccans, you feel as if they have got a gear or two to go through if they really need to. But you often see that with teams. If you don't keep it going, it is hard as the game goes on to go through the gears. Scotland could somehow manage to get a goal.
Hendry coming forward, he couldn't find Adams though, and it's played forward again by the Scots. Hakimi on the back foot for once, rolls it back to Bono, his goalkeeper, who first time plays it back out to the man who has not endeared himself to the Scotland fans. Plays it back in field. Always looks like he gets so much time. That's what the good players can do though, isn't it? They just never look flustered. Always have time and space on the ball, even when they don't really, as Mazraoui has it. Left back position. Definitely cooled off another couple of degrees. Certainly up here. I imagine it's, relatively speaking, a little bit cooler down pitch level as well, as the Scots look to press to McTominay. Back to Bono it goes. Not a brilliant ball back to Diop. Diop can't get it over McGinn. That will come to Robertson. Robertson infield to McTominay at the edge of the box. Now it's Christie. Christie goes for goal just over the top from Ryan Christie. Scotland coming close to an equaliser. Wonderful move once they picked up possession. But over the top from Christie, and it's still Scotland 0, Morocco 1.
Yeah, I guess in a good position. He's always running away from it. I wonder if he kicks it. Nah, he's falling back as he hits it. He's not completely in control of it as he hits it. And if you are falling back when you kick a football, it almost always goes over the crossbar. But no, definitely a half chance there. Scotland, the other thing not to forget, Scotland are going towards their own fans here. That always gives you a little bit of help as well. So again, a little bit of a left, and that change, I think with Andy Robertson at left fullback, very comfortable playing there, and will run off Brahim Diaz. And by the way, has won the ball again from him.
He has, and it's McGinn who picks up. Robertson gives him a run. It's too much in that pass though from McGinn, and it bounces behind. Robertson deserved better there after the initial challenge and then making the run, but McGinn overcooking the pass behind for a goal kick. The referee's telling them they need to take it quicker, but he's not really enforcing.
They know he's not going to do anything. He doesn't look as if he's going to do anything about that. They're very comfortable. He's giving it now.
Well, Bono eventually takes the goal kick, maybe just in with 2 or 3 seconds left in the referee's count. Morocco looking to play out on the right-hand side, but again, McTominay steps in, who didn't quite win the ball though, and it's Unai picking up on that right flank into El Ainaoui. But yeah, Morocco's certainly not having it all their own way as they were for the opening half an hour of this game. But Hakimi goes down, pulled back by Robertson, was it? Referee's looking to his pocket here. It's a yellow card for Andy Robertson.
Kind of hard to argue with that. You wouldn't want to argue with that. I mean, they were close to him. He got a little bit too close. And if you get too close and you put any arms at all, any hands at all on the player, the chances are you're going to get a yellow card. Some might say that's a sensible one.
Robertson into the referee's book.
He's not done much to him, but he's put his hands on him because he's lost on, and Diaz has gone down. Referees almost always give a yellow for that.
Here's El Khanous over on the left-hand side, just outside the Scotland penalty area. Gannon Doakes with him. We haven't seen him in an attacking sense as yet since he's come on. 65 on the clock. Scotland trailing by a goal to nil as it's picked up in the midfield by El Ainaoui, and back the way it goes to Diop into the centre circle for Riyadh of Palace. Square again for Diop. He plays his football across London at Craven Cottage. Forward it goes to Boadi. Boadi then shot pass to Unai. Just decent spell of possession this for Morocco, trying to take the sting out of Scotland, who've enjoyed a decent spell in the opening quarter of this second period. As we get confirmation on the big screens here of the yellow card shown to the Scotland skipper Andy Robertson, who will very soon, you feel, surpass Sir Kenny Dalglish as the record appearance holder for his country What an honour that will be. There's a few better than King Kenny donned the navy blue. 102 caps he got. This is Robertson's 96th as Hakimi, who's on 98 now for Morocco, picks up out to the right hand side for El Khanous, who's switched wings for the moment.
Well, the big thing just now is the control play. You look at the control play of Moroccans just now. They want to say, right, okay, Scotland, you got a bit excited there, we're just going to hold it now. We're just going to strangle you, get out of the game, out of possession.
Unai goes down.
Again, doesn't give it. I love it. I'm beginning to like this referee, even though he does make some mistakes.
It's Ferguson's challenge with Mazraoui, has to go back to his goalkeeper.
But that's the right ball, isn't it? That's straight over the top of Mazraoui there. Now, he had about 10 yards on Gannon Doak. Now, even for Gannon Doak, that's a hard task, that one. But Scotland will have to do that. And it only needs Gannon Doak to get away once on that right-hand side. He won't be caught.
Here's Unai in field, plays a little bounce pass off Diaz. Here's Diaz picking up once more, trying to find a yard of space, pokes it into the penalty area, swept up though by Patterson. He continues to impress in that right back spot, and I think that's a cue for the latest hydration break midway through this second period. Scotland still trailing by a 1-0, but let's bring in former Scotland international Leanne Crichton once more for her overview of how the Scots have taken the game to Morocco to some extent in the second half, Leanne.
It's certainly been much better, Al, that's for sure. Much better than the opening kind of quarter of the first half. I think there's been more control about Scotland, much better in possession, but much more aggression higher up the pitch, which I've liked, and that's maybe naturally happened just because you've been in at half time and you've been afforded that reset. They've probably been shown some analysis clips as well, where they can go and gain a bit more territory, that they can be a bit more aggressive, that they can try and hem Morocco in. And I've liked a couple of moments with Andy Robertson really being aggressive since the changes happened, with Gannon Doak coming onto the pitch and going to that right hand side, and John McGinn being in front of Andy Robertson as well. So it's now just the use of the ball. I think there's a fair bit of activity going on down below as well. I reckon we'll see Lyndon Dykes quite shortly. And hopefully, if we're going to be a little bit more direct, which we've tried to get the ball into Shea Adams more frequently, that it'll stick and we'll be able to play off that. I like having McGinn on this left-hand side now as well, because I think he will go and venture and look to try and get beyond Dykes as well, as having that real natural outlet in Gannon Doak on the far side. But we're very much in the game, and that's a really good feeling to have, because after that blistering 20 minutes in the first half, I thought it could have been lights out, but credit to Steve Clarke and the boys have managed to rally. They've composed themselves. Morocco will still carry a threat, but we spoke about that word intensity at half time. Their intensity levels have dropped considerably, but they do still carry a real threat in the transitional moments.
We're seeing the fan cam on the massive screens to our left and right, and it's wonderful to see. You know, there's a Scotland end, there's a Morocco end, but there's very much a mixture as well throughout the stadium, and the fans are mixing brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, it does tend to happen at most World Cups. You get that. You know, there are some supporters you have to keep apart, but you never worry about Scotland supporters with anyone, do you? And I've never worried about them. They just want to make new mates. That's what they do. And these fan cams are actually, I've never been the biggest fan of them all the time, but on this occasion, they actually work well, because what you're doing is just seeing celebrations, fun, having a bit of a giggle, and because the Scotland fans are sitting there, you know, singing, enjoying, dancing, it's having exactly the same reaction. The Moroccan fans, they're thinking, yeah, we'll have a dig at that, we'll go at that, we'll join in the party, and that's what Scotland fans tend to do. They bring everybody to their party, and I'm looking down there to see that there is going to be a change. Scotland are going to make another
a couple of changes by the looks of it. Kenny McLean and Lyndon Dykes, as Leanne correctly called. Ryan Christie makes his way off.
Do you know, it makes really good sense. Leanne was spot on about that. I wasn't convinced that, you know, to start the game with Lyndon Dykes, but having watched this referee, he's the man. He's the man you want on there, because his physicality may well... Oh, he started already. That's hilarious there. He just walked on the pitch there, and Bouadi went up to him as if to kind of just stand in front of him. Lyndon Dykes went, "Get out of my way, kid," and pushed him away.
So it's Dykes and McLean on for Adams and Christie. Scotland look to try and get themselves back on level terms, trailing by a goal to nil. They've been behind since the second minute of the game, but they have improved the performance as it's gone on. As McTominay barges into Diaz there, that will be a free kick, regardless of the referee showing a little bit more tolerance for contact in there, but that was overly physical from McTominay, and Morocco get the free kick, which they've taken. 72 minutes on the clock as Scotland trail. Remember, it's Brazil against Haiti next up in Philadelphia. That's live coverage of that from kickoff on BBC Radio 5 Live. BBC Radio Scotland will join it, I reckon, towards the end of the first half, after a bit of analysis of this game. And then you've got Turkey against Paraguay from San Francisco at 4 o'clock kickoff, also live on BBC Radio 5 Live. And then also on the iPlayer just after this game, there's going to be again a kind of analysis show as we go over the nuts and bolts of what is going on out there. Hopefully they're discussing a positive result for Scotland, a late comeback to get something on the board, and of course that would signal almost certain progression for the very first time at a major competition. Here's Kenny McLean getting his first touch, knocks it forward to his fellow sub Lyndon Dykes on the halfway line. Gannon Doak, the other substitute that Scotland have made, then plays it back the way, and Scotland will try and build from the back once more. McTominay back into Hanley, midway inside his own half. Scotland have got 17 minutes plus stoppage time to find a leveller. Remember, if it were to stay at 1-0 Morocco, it is by no means the end of Scotland's World Cup hopes, as Gannon Doak collides with the goalkeeper. Well, they're both taking a sore one there. Gannon Doak wasn't pulling out of that, although Bono was favourite to get there first. The ball over the top. Gannon Doak and Bono just colliding at pace there, and a sore one for both players, and hopefully both able to continue.
Gannon Doak is basically, he's eyeing the ball the entire time. So keeper gets to it first, and he's trying to stop a little bit, and Gannon Doak's been wiped out as well. And it's one of those ones that, again, there are some referees that feel the need to get a yellow card out there. There's no yellow card. There's two players that are running for the ball at the same time at full pace. One gets it with a millisecond before the other one, and happily the referee has had no action whatsoever other than the free kick, which is fine.
Yeah, it is a free kick to Morocco inside their own penalty area. Bono hasn't been overly troubled, you'd have to say, in the Morocco goal, but he had to look lively there to get there ahead of the speedy Gannon Doak. A quarter of an hour remaining of the 90 minutes. There will be a chunk of added on time, as always in these games, as Scotland look for an equaliser. It's Hendry at the back though for Hanley. There's a kind of hush almost around the stadium, a little bit of tension for both sets of supporters. You feel Morocco by no means guaranteed, and they don't want to drop any more points. I know you'd have to say it's probably a good result drawing with Brazil, but they don't want to be on 2 points at the end of this, albeit you would put your house on them to beat Haiti in the final game, especially if they needed to. Throw in Scotland, left hand side, right in the halfway line. It's the captain Andy Robertson. Back to Hendry it goes. Now Hanley out to the right hand side for Gannon Doak. Then Patterson clips it forward. Dykes won't get there though. It's knocked away by Riyad. Headed forward once more. McLean, clever ball back the way to Hendry. About 20 yards inside his own half. Forward he'll come now. Kenny McLean once more, allowed to advance on the left hand side. Ball into the feet of John McGinn. Back to McLean. Robertson tried to find him McGinn again, but Diaz was in the way, and that allows Hakimi to pick up and drive Morocco forward. They know they'll probably need another goal to be sure of the victory here. Scotland don't want to be conceding again, because, as I say, a narrow defeat is not a fatal blow to their hopes, but the more goals they concede, the more they lose by. As it's a poignant moment actually inside the Boston Stadium here, as the big screens flash up a picture of Tartan Army member Donny Strathy of Grangemouth, who very, very sadly passed away here in Boston. He had a ticket for this game. As Morocco come forward here, Diaz couldn't get the ball out of his feet, and Gunn is able to clear, but unfortunately Donny Strathy passed away, and he never got to this game to see his beloved Scotland. Here comes Mazraoui, gets to the byline, stands up to the back post, but sometimes you need that perspective that football is not a matter of life and death, as the Tartan Army particularly, but the Moroccan fans as well, join in the minute's applause for Donny Strathy, who travelled to the USA in the hope of seeing his country at a World Cup, and unfortunately didn't get to do so. Our thoughts with his friends and family. Scotland have it at the back. It's 77 in, Scotland 0, Morocco 1. Live coverage here of the World Cup, once again on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Radio Scotland. You won't miss a kick of the ball across the BBC over this wonderful tournament as Dyke spreads it out to the right hand side for Gannon Doak. Little step over, is away from one player. Now he's up against Mazraoui because he got the beating of him, trying to get to the byline, can't get it beyond Mazraoui. He picks up again, still it's Gannon Doak, and he just couldn't bundle his way through, and Bono's able to gather. But that's exactly what you get from Gannon Doak. He's a bundle of energy, he's so dangerous.
Right, he goes past the first player lightning quick, leaves him completely for dead there, and then gets a chance to get to the byline. Now if the Moroccans didn't know beforehand, they know now. He's got pace to burn, and if Scotland can only get the ball out to him, he'll have 2-on-1 against him every time. Now that doesn't seem to matter.
Good ball from Kenny McLean through the lines for Scott McTominay, challenged by Boadi, but it's come out to Gannon Doak, right hand side, up against Mazraoui again. Let's see what he can do this time. Just rolls it back to Ferguson. Ferguson tries to take on McLean actually, but no way through on that occasion. Scotland have won it back though, good determination by Ferguson, and then Gannon Doak pokes it to Patterson. Patterson looks like he's running out of steam out there. He's put in a really good shift for 78 minutes, but not really used to playing this amount of football, as McLean feeds it out to Gannon Doak once more, up against Mazraoui yet again, turns back, tries to squeeze it through. Boadi's there to help Mazraoui, and Boadi's won it from him, and he'll come forwards. It's not only Scotland who've got a talented teenager in Gannon Doak, it's Boadi for Morocco, and forward they come, and it's Saibari into the heart of the pitch, but no teammate there ready to collect him. McGinn's done well to bring it away for Scotland, and he drives forward, and he's caught there by Hakimi, but the referee says no, you were looking for that, John McGinn, and I think he's probably right there again, the Uzbekistani. I think McGinn just left the trailing leg.
I think you're spot on there, and there's afters off the ball there, so McGinn's getting, I mean the referee and the assistant referee should be looking at this just now. Anyway, the game goes on. What a difference it's made. Ben Gannon Doak's got the ball 3 times now, and you can feel this entire stadium changes when he gets the ball. Now he's not at the final crossing yet, but it's kind of pushed the game completely differently, and in some ways it feels that Scotland are slightly the more likely if you're going to get a goal from now. I haven't said that there's great quality in this Moroccan side, but at the moment, seeing in the last 10 minutes or so, Scotland have the better attacks down that right hand side particularly.
64,146 is the official attendance, a full house inside the Boston Stadium, and they are being captivated by a hard fought game here. It looked like the Morocco were going to run away with it at one stage, but Scotland have dug in, they are making a real game of it for the last 10 minutes. They will go and chase an equaliser and try and make themselves legends in their own country, the first team to get through to the knockout stages of a major tournament. As Morocco though have it, and almost given away to him again, but it finds its way through to Hakimi. In steps Ferguson, and out of play as Morocco look to make their first changes of the game. Looks like Soufiane Rahimi is going to come on, and he will be joined on the field of play by Shamsdeen Talbi. Just need to try and keep an eye on
it's usually Talbi for Diaz, isn't it, and Sabari?
Yeah,
usually comes off of him. We shall see. It'll take a wee bit of time here to make that change. In fact, they're not going to make it just now.
Not quite yet.
Not ready yet.
In fact, it looks like there's maybe going to be a third player going to come on as well. Maybe that's why they were delaying just in these final stages of the game. Morocco looking to play out. It's forward from Diop. Well, that looked like it was a free kick. The referee's done Scotland a favour. Unai went down.
I'm with the referee again in that one.
Yeah.
I think he's looking at it. It's a clever play, but he threw himself to the ground before the hit actually came. So, you know, I hope this continues in football. The referees aren't given the simplest free kicks just for contact.
Robertson forward, gets it back from McGinn, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Robertson into McTominay. Chance McTominay goes down. Still referee says no free kick, no penalty. No foul on McTominay. The Tartan Army Howell looking for the spot kick, but it's not forthcoming, and now Morocco will come and try and finish Scotland off here. Down the left-hand side they come. The Tartan Army not happy, but McTominay not getting the penalty, and it comes, and it's cool defending by Lewis Ferguson to chest it back to Angus Gunn. Pat Nevin, your thoughts on that penalty?
Well, first of all, he goes down and he's screaming for it, and he's convinced it's a penalty kick. Do you know what, Scott? See if it is, you'll get it. Don't worry. There's a reason why you'll get it. So you get up, get on with the game, and make sure we don't lose in case it isn't given. Now, he's pretty convinced that it was a penalty kick. From this angle, again, we have to see we're a long old way away. I wasn't completely convinced by it.
No, I'm with you on that. But we've got 7.5 minutes left of the 90. 3 Moroccan changes are coming. Ayoub Amaimouni is the other one who's going to come on, as well as Rahimi and Talbi, who we already mentioned. It looks like it'll be 3 changes up front as McTominay picks up in a good position again. Here's Lyndon Dykes, edge of the box, looking to get the better there of the defender, but he just didn't have the pace to get by him, and it's seen out for a goal kick there. Good defending, you'd have to say, by Riyad there, and now Morocco will make the changes as we see McTominay's penalty claim again here, Pat. Again, probably not enough in it, is there?
No, it's not a huge amount. I mean, there's contact, and I think because the two of them close to each other, he's run into him. It would have been under the soft category, shall we say?
Well, who's coming off? El Kanous is definitely making way. Saibari as well, and Brahim Diaz is the other player to come off as Talbi, Rahimi and Amaimouni come on. So freshening up of the attack. Scotland will have to be on their toes at the back, but equally, I mean, they've looked every bit as dangerous, you would have to say, as the Moroccans in this second period.
Yeah, there's not been much in it, but I think maybe Scotland slightly shading it in the second period. Now, I think some people may say, yeah, Moroccans are doing just enough, and there is an argument they're doing just enough. But they're taking a chance there. I mean, Scotland have come into the game with a lot more confidence about the play. They're passing it well. They're comfortable at this level at the moment in time. They know what the game plan is. They're trying to get it to Ben Gannon Doak. I think Dykes, I have to say, he's made a big difference since he's come on. He really held the ball well. They've tried to roughhouse him. They're wasting your time there. He's just going to give you back at least double what you try and give him. So, and Kenny McLean, I think he's come on and he's been very, very comfortable in the ball.
Robertson finds Hendry on the halfway line. Hendry out to the right-hand side. Gannon Doak's the outlet again. Patterson goes beyond them, despite the fact that he's burst a gut. Now it's McTominay into the penalty area again, right-hand side. Flashes it across goal into the side netting of Riyad. Trying to find a teammate, but it's into the side netting. It'll be a Scotland corner, and the Tartan Army believe that there is an equaliser in this game for them.
Well, certainly the better the second half. They spent most of the time looking down to our left here. And without making a huge amount of chances, they have looked really good, particularly in this left-hand side. And it's, is this their first corner? This is Scotland's first corner. I can't remember.
It's going to be McLean to take it in from the right-hand side. The header comes in, but it's wide. Lyndon Dykes claiming there was a push in there, but either way, it's gone wide of target. It was Dykes who got there just ahead of McTominay. I wonder if he'd been better leaving it for McTominay, but it's a difficult one to pass up, and Dykes just off target, and it remains Scotland 0, Morocco 1, 5 to play.
That's a chance. That is a massive chance there. Maybe not for Dykes. The ball's he's not going to get to her. He's slightly going backwards there, but you're spot on. McTominay's coming onto it, and suddenly Scotland have got a real head of steam up here.
Here they come once more. McTominay does brilliantly to bring that under control, but Mazraoui then nicks it off him, and Morocco have it back deep in their own territory. 86 minutes in, so Morocco go long. Gunn comes, and we'll gather that just at the edge of his penalty area. You can feel round about us, Pat, that the Tartan Army do feel that there could be an equaliser. As Patterson's put under pressure, I wonder if Scotland are thinking about a change.
Ralston will come on for him. He's been brilliant. I have to say, Patterson's done very, very well. Hasn't been shown up against very good players here today.
A good little turn, trademark John McGinn from the left-hand side. Boadi's trying to get back at him. Still it's McGinn almost at the corner flag. Brilliant cross to the back post. And Gavin Doak's taken out by his own player there. I think McTominay trying to get on it with a hitch kick, and Gavin Doak was side down by McTominay, and the chance is gone. What a cross that was from John McGinn.
Phenomenal. He had two players on him all the time there. He just muscled him off, and from absolutely nowhere, right out beside the corner flag, he's putting a great cross. And once again, for the second time, Scott McTominay, he's got a player in his way when he's trying to come on. But this head of steam's coming. You can feel it.
Listen to the Scotland crowd get behind their side. I'm sure the Moroccan fans are cheering as well to try and ensure that they see out the victory. It's still all to play for in these closing minutes as McTominay, who's become more and more involved in these latter stages of the second half. 87 on the clock. Scotland trailed by a goal to nil. Can they find an equaliser, which would make this team legends? Hendry plays it square, about 15 yards inside his own half to Ferguson, out to Gavin Doak, right hand side. Mazraoui's up against him, makes half a challenge, but Gavin Doak gets the break of the ball. Into the box it comes. Can he get turned here? Oh, it's smothered the shot from McTominay, and it's an easy take in the end from Bono, who goes down holding his hamstring. I'm sure there's not much wrong with him here. I think that's certainly a view shared by the Tartan Army, that Patterson is going to be changed here for Anthony Ralston, as you just see that shot being smothered. But it's good defending, you have to say, there by Riyad, kept really close to Scott McTominay, Pat.
Yeah, and that's 3 times Scott McTominay's got himself into absolutely brilliant positions in this latter part of the game there, and each time he's just millimetre short. He's done nothing wrong. And interestingly, watching the goalkeeper Bono there, he's down. The referee's walked away and said, get up. Just beforehand, it was Chas McTominay was coming in at the back post. His head was higher than the defender's foot there again. The big man will do anything to go in the end of it. So Scotland, have they made that change?
They made that change, and they're going to make another one. It's Ross Stewart who is going to come on for these closing moments.
Temptation.
It's going to be John McGinn to make way. So they're just going to go for it. They're going to go direct. Route one, perhaps. Whatever it takes to try and find the equalising goal, as Ralston also replaces Patterson. It's an interesting one that Hickey's not been risked. I wonder if there is a slight knock there or whatever. The Brentford man being kept in reserve for this one, as Ferguson is penalised for a challenge there. And there's going to be another change here for Morocco. It's El Mourabet coming on for Unai in midfield for them, as they look to see this one out. We're into the final minute of the 90. Can Scotland somehow find themselves a leveller, or can Morocco see this one out and move top of the group, at least until Brazil take on Haiti? Live on 5 Live following this game.
And the attacking threat that Scotland have got on there, they've got Lyndon Dykes, but sure, as you mentioned there, up front beside him, you've got Gavin Doak in there, and of course Scott McTominay, he's basically a centre forward as well. But will they be broken on?
Well, it's Morocco coming forward now down the left-hand side. 6 minutes of added on time have been shown by the fourth official, as Morocco tried to go for a goal there, but it's blocked away on the edge of the box. 6 minutes then, Scotland have to find themselves an equaliser. 6 minutes, Morocco must hold out, or if they can find a second, that would surely be enough to get them over the winning line.
They're trying to kill every second just now, aren't they, the Moroccans? You can see that. I can show you how concerned they are at this point in time, because there's none of this ultra-confident passing about, little flex. There's none of that now. They're trying to survive at this point in time. It's if only Scotland can create one more chance in these last 5 minutes or so.
It's all to play for here, as Hakimi picks up right-hand side. Challenged well by Dykes in from the side. A big long leg of the Australian-born striker, and won the ball, but it's back with Bono, who'll clear. Clipped on there by the substitute Rahimi, but Scotland pick up again, but it's a wasteful ball forward, and Bono will collect once more, and he'll try and wait for as long as possible before he picks it up. Stewart closes him down on his 4th Scotland cap. What a moment it would be if he could grab an equaliser and clinch Scotland that place in the knockout phase. Robertson knocks it forward. Hakimi returns it down the right flank. It'll be picked up here by Aman Mooney, one of the substitutes, right-hand side for Morocco. The fans around about us on tenterhooks. Aman Mooney does well, a couple of little tricks, but then he's lost it to Robertson. Dykes is there, back from Ferguson to Robertson once more. Oh, he's done brilliantly there, Kenny McLean, to turn away from a couple of challenges. Now it's McTominay out to the right-hand side. Gannon Doak will gather on the halfway line. Ralston goes ahead of him. It's Gannon Doak, leaves it for Ralston, midway inside the Morocco half. Comes infield, the Celtic fullback, back to the halfway line to Hanley. Scotland don't really have time on their side, and that's a loose pass in the middle of the park from Ferguson. Neither to one player nor the other, and Morocco will pick up and try and come forward and finish the game off. Up towards the edge of the penalty area they come. It's Rahimi on the edge of the box. Now there's the opportunity out on the left-hand side, lashed towards goal but over the top, and it will be a Scotland goal kick. Has just failed to hit the target there from Talby, and it will remain. Well, that looks like that's a
that
save.
Should have been a corner kick. That 100%. They got that right. They got that wrong.
Scotland have got away with that one. Talby denied, but a good save from Gunn, you'd have to say that was.
It's just a real shame there, because Scotland in a good position there. They just had to get the ball into Gannon Doak. They went left instead of right. Big mistake.
Here's Hakimi in an advanced area. Robertson will pick up though. Can Scotland get the ball forward? They've got 3 minutes of injury time left to play. McTominay leaving it here for Ralston. Ralston out to Gannon Doak, just inside his own half. Back to Ralston it goes, former Celtic teammates. Big diagonal from Ralston, looking for Robertson. Great ball actually. Robertson gets his head to it. Dykes will chase it. Hakimi's clearance falls to Robertson. Robertson goes down. Dykes helps it into the 6-yard box. Bladi's there to get it clear. Robertson was looking for the free kick, but the referee allowed play to continue. Picked up here by McLean. McLean goes down. The referee says play on. This time we wanted the free kick to come, but it doesn't. And Steve Clark being barged into there by the substitute Amai Mooney as he came off the field of play. Completely accidental, and a little shake of the hands between the two. As Morocco have the free kick, the referee needs to get them to hurry up here. It's supposed to be 5 seconds. They're in absolutely no hurry here.
I mean, it's the longest 5 seconds in world history. That's awful.
Just over 2 minutes to play. Scotland 0, Morocco 1. It's stood like that since the 71st second of the game. And Scotland, try as they might in this second period, haven't been able to really force Bono into a save of any great note, as Stewart nods it down, but he can't link with Dykes. And Hakimi, well, he's just resorting to going long. Just anywhere will do for the Moroccans at this stage.
Tells you the story. Absolutely tells you the story. I have to say again, this close to the end of the game, Scotland deserve it. Scotland deserve to get a goal here. They've not made a huge bunch of chances, but in terms of possession, play, willingness to go forward, trying to get into the right areas, not wasting time, Scotland will be the better side in the second half on balance.
Grant Hanley goes long looking for Dykes. 1-0 by Diop, but it will fall for McTominay at the edge of the area. Closely challenged, and again he goes down, and again he doesn't get the free kick that he was looking for, and Morocco will break. And he could spring a counter here on Scotland. Hanley's back, but it's fed to Amai Mooney. Amai Mooney inside the penalty area, checks one way then the other. Left foot curler just wide. That would have finished it for Morocco in the final minute of injury time, but he just couldn't find the inside of the post, and it's still Scotland 0, Morocco 1.
That's going to happen. Scotland have played so many players forward. Morocco can break. They will get chances here. There was something about Scotland at the moment in time, just trying to get that one chance. Now that surely is a foul. That's almost a knee in the back. But he's playing on. Honestly, you expect actually American football. He's playing these games. American.
Scotland have it again. Fed forward looking for Stewart. Stewart goes up, nods it down. Dykes is there. Oh, it's not just wide by a defender. It's a Scotland corner in the final few seconds of this game. That could have gone anywhere off Riyadh, but fortunately for him, it goes wide of the goal, and it's still 1-0 Morocco.
Well, there's only seconds to go now, but what Scotland have got is they've got a lot of tall players on there. They've got Dykes, they've got McTominay, they've got Stewart on there as well as the centre backs coming up. This is all about the quality of the ball for Scotland.
The Scotland crowd are on their feet here, willing this ball to go into the back of the net to clinch a place in the knockout phase. It's going to be Lewis Ferguson from the left-hand side. Is this the moment of Scotland's destiny? The near post ball's won by a Moroccan head. Out at the penalty area it comes back in from Ralston, but he's only found a Moroccan player and he's pulled an opponent back, and it's going to be a free kick to Morocco. And is that the chance gone? Yes, it is. The referee's final whistle, I think, has sounded a bit of confusion down there. Moroccan players on the bench have all come on the pitch, and the referee says, yeah, that'll do us. It is full time in Boston. Scotland battled away in the second half, but they could not get the goal that their play arguably deserved. A handshake down there between Steve Clarke and his opposite number, Mohamed Ouabi, and I think the Moroccan manager will feel that they were clinging on at times in that second period, albeit they didn't have chances themselves to extend their advantage. But Scotland much improved in the second half, but they could not find the equaliser to Saibari's second minute strike, which he hammered home from a tight angle. A lot of credit to the Scots for the way they dragged themselves back into the game. And we know that a 1-0 defeat is not by any means the end of the world for them, but Pat, they just couldn't quite get the goal that would have made themselves legendary in Scotland and got them into the knockout phase.
Do you know, they can be proud of themselves, particularly in that second half. I mean, we go back to the fact that the first quarter of the game, Scotland were second best by a country mile. However, they brought themselves back into the game. I did question whether it was the Moroccans taking the foot off the gas, and I think you felt the same yourself. Then as it went on, and particularly as we got into the second half, but actually no, this is a pretty even game now against two teams that have not a lot between each other. By the end of the game, Scotland were the better side. Scotland were pushing it, that resilience we knew that they had, the physicality that they've got, they understood what the referee was doing, although not many other people did. And they had half chances, and they got the ball into good areas. They just needed the break of the ball. A couple of times when McTominay gets in there, you know, and the way it's gone in the past, McTominay's got there, no one's in the way, and he managed to get the ball in the back of the net. But I feel as if kind of a belief about Scotland there in that second half, after what was a very, very, very nervous start. That was lost. That's completely and utterly banished. We can't allow that to happen again, and certainly can't allow it to happen against Brazil.
Well, 28 years ago, Morocco stunned Scotland, beating them by 3-0 in France to send them crashing out of the 1998 World Cup. Scotland were adamant there was going to be no such defeat this evening, but it is a defeat in the end, albeit a narrow one. Scotland live on in the World Cup. Morocco leapfrogged them to the top of the group ahead of Brazil, Haiti in a couple of hours' time. But in the Boston Stadium, as Boston bids farewell to the Tartan Army, it finishes Scotland 0, Morocco 1.